Hello and welcome. Today we talk about functions in Python. A function is a block of code which only runs when it's called. Functions are mostly used in order to avoid code repetition. You can pass data, known as parameters, into a function. A function can return data as a result. A function is defined by writing diff and then the function's name. So in this example, let's see how we use functions in order to make a simple calculator. The name of a function must be descriptive. So we write a function by the name of, we define a function by the name of diff, and then this function is adding two numbers. So we write add, and then we give it two parameters in order to we want to add two numbers. So the first parameter is called number 1, comma, and number 2, NBR2. So this is the function that has two parameters, number 1 and number 2. Then we have a colon. So when we enter, we get the right indentation. Without a colon, we do not get the right indentation. So now we are inside the function. So let's see what it does. It adds two numbers, these two numbers. Like I said, a function can return a number, return something, a data, or a function can just do something. So if we want to return this, for example, we want to return the result, so we write return number 1 plus number 2. So in this case, this function returns the result. That's it. So how this function does not do anything. When you run it, nothing happens, because we do not call this function. In order to see if the function works, we have to call this function. So for this, we have to print the result. So we write print and then call the function, and write two numbers. For example, we have 4, 5. So we add these two numbers, and inside a print we should write it as a string format. So we change the format of the number as string. Now let's see what happens if we run it. So 4 plus 5 is 9. So it should print 9. Okay, that's it. The result is 9. So the result has been already printed. Okay, now I want to do the calculation and just print it inside this add function. I do not want to return, so I print it inside the add function. Let's see. I write the whole calculation. How we do it? Print, and inside the print, I want to write the first number, a plus sign, second number, and then the result. So let's see how we do it. the format is string format or text format. So now we write number 1. This is the first number, and then after that we have to write a plus sign in order to concatenate it. These numbers as a text beside each other. This is the first number, and then plus sign, plus. So in order to show the plus sign, to print the plus sign, we have to have a plus sign as a text as well, and then plus again. Now we write the second number, str, string number 2. Okay, now plus again. Now we have the so the first number plus the second number. Now we should have an equal sign, and then at last plus again. Then at last we should have the numbers, the result. So the result here, we change. Okay, we write the result as well in string format, str, in order to be accepted in the print. So this is the how I wanted to show it. Show the first number plus the second number, and then the equal sign, and at last the result. So let's see what it does. Now we do not need this print function, because the result is will already be printed inside the function. Now this function does not do anything until we call it. So we call this function add, and we 5 plus 8, for example, 5 plus 9. Let's see. Now we call this function. This is how we call this function, and we run it. So the result is 5 plus 9 is equal to 14. So now this function is our template. We can use it as many times as we want. So this is the best way in order to avoid code repetition. If we did not have this function, we had to write this print several times in order to do the same thing. So now we add another something else, 10 plus 34. We write this one, run it, and you see the result. It's 10 plus 34 is equal to 44. So this is the add. The name of the function should be a descriptive, and parameters. A function can have parameters, like it has 2 parameters here. Can take data as parameters, and a function, maybe we do not need a parameter in a function. Function just does something. So now I need a subtraction function as well. So I just change this function in order to copy it and change it in order to write save time. So I write sub and number 1 and number 2. So I subtract number 2 from number 1. Let's see here what we change. We change the plus sign to minus here, and this addition to subtraction. Okay, so now we have another function which is called sub with 2 n parameters, number 1 and number 2. Now let's see, let's change, use the subtraction function, right? Sub So we write 12, comma 4. So 12 minus 4. What is 12 minus 4? Let's see how it runs. Good. 12 minus 4 is equal to 8. So this is a good way to use the function and show it. So this is the, we can write another function, use it once again. Write 100, comma 12. So 100 minus 12. 100 minus 12 is 88. Good. Now we copy the code and change it to another function, to third function as multiplication. So this function is mult, this like this. It should show the multiplication, and what we change here, we change the minus to an x that shows the multiplication, and the minus here to a star, which is used for multiplication in the computer. So that's it. Now let's see if we use the third function, the mult function. So what we multiply 3 times 5, for example. And now let's run it and see what happens. 3 times 5 is equal to 15. Good. We could have written just point instead of but it does not look so good, because it we can have this star in order to show the multiplication as well. But mostly in written text, x is used just for simple multiplication. So we have this x. Okay, that's it. Now the fourth function that I want to have here is the division. Let's see, change this one to a division function. So, and change this to a slash, which is used for division, and as well change this multiplication to division. So number 1 divided by number 2. Okay, that's it. So we change the name as well as div to show that it's a division function. Now let's write it div, and then what we divide 12, 120 divided by 3, for example. Okay, now let's run it. Okay, that's good. 120 divided by 3 is 40. So this was the sample calculator, that we have 4 functions: add function with 2 parameters, a sub function with 2 parameters, mult function with 2 parameters, and div function that takes 2 parameters. That's it for today. So in the next tutorial, I'll combine these 4 functions into one function and do the same thing. So so let's see how we do it in the next tutorial. So please comment and share to other friends if you haven't done yet. Have a great time. Bye bye.